Have you ever felt like you were not ready to get married? Assalamu alaikum YouTube, this is your brother Sohail and welcome to A Way of Life. Now today's topic is super important because it requires you to get married. Today we're going to compile top reasons as to why brothers are hesitant to get married. Now we know from the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that marriage is half your deen. Therefore, if you're not married yet, then you're not a full person. Today's conversation is really important because we're trying to get you to be full people. And what's interesting as well, that Adam alayhi salam had a wife whose name was Hawa, who came from his rib. Now if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to create another person, he would have done so. But he created Hawa alayhi salam from the rib to signify how much a man is missing until he finds the right woman. Now the fact that Hawa alayhi salam came from Adam alayhi salam's rib signifies how important women are in Islam, especially to the man, because we're truly not complete unless we have our wife with us as well. Plus, can you imagine not walking around with a rib? Now we can't be walking around with missing ribs over here, and some of us have 4 ribs missing. That means we're allowed 4 marriages as well. So we know there's tons of reasons why brothers are hesitant to get married, but we compiled the top 5 reasons that brothers are hesitant to get married. So inshallah, here we begin. The first reason is finances. Money is always a big issue to brothers, and they're always afraid that, hey, if I got married, I'd be unable to support my wife, which is a valid concern. But we have to go back to the Quranic verse. In chapter 2, verse number 268, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points out that the shaitan promises us poverty in exchange for us to perform immorality. Therefore, when brothers are afraid to get married, what the shaitan is tricking you to believe is that you're not going to be able to afford a wife, brother. What are you doing? How are you going to pay for stuff? You're not going to live in your house. I can't afford an apartment. What am I going to do? Now, that's the shaitan's way of tricking you so that you can commit zina and other immoralities rather than just making it halal and getting married itself. Now, here's something a lot of us brothers forget. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ar-Razaq. He is the one who provides for you all of your risk or your sustenance. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing for us. Now think about this for a second, brothers. Now if you were to get married, doesn't Allah have to provide for her as well? Now Allah has 2 mouths to feed. Don't you think Allah knows now He has to increase your wealth so you can sustain you and another person? Now that you got married for His sake so you could do the right thing, so why wouldn't He provide you with more barakah in your wealth as well? Not only are you going to have more wealth, but you're going to have more blessings in your wealth too. The second reason is that sometimes brothers feel like, hey, I'm in school. Now, that also goes back to finances because brothers think that how am I supposed to afford a wife if I'm still in school? Now, that's again the shaitan scaring you with poverty. But nonetheless, there's so many ways to go around that as well. You can easily have your nikah done and still go to school. So let's suppose you met your wife at an MSA, you both had your nikahs done, you both go to the same school, you can easily have lunch together, study together, and just go out together. It's just such a better system. And at the same time, you both can live in separate houses until you finish school and you can afford more things. I think that's better than zina. The third reason is brothers are super picky. They want this Miss Potato Head idea in which they can assemble the perfect sister together. That's not how it works. A lot of brothers go on these Muslim dating sites and just go through page after page after page trying to find the perfect lady. Now when we scroll through these websites, what we're doing is actually objectifying women, which is something completely against Islam. We start looking at, oh, I like this sister, she has nice lips. Oh, I like this sister, she has a nice hijab. Oh, I like this sister, she has a nice face. Oh, her eyes, mashallah, mwah. I like her shoulders. Inshallah, that's all that we're seeing on these sites. But in the same respect, we can't start objectifying women and start picking the perfect bride. Well, that's not how you find the perfect wife. We know from the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that out of looks, out of wealth, out of family lineage, morality, character is the most important thing to look for. Therefore, don't get too picky because everyone's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress and so is your wife. It wouldn't be fun if you consider yourself perfect and wanted a perfect wife as well. If you and your wife both were perfect, there would be no way for both of you guys to grow together in this deen. Therefore, as a mercy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept these imperfections from us and allowed us to get married so that we can help each other out. Now, you help your wife out and she helps you out as well. Become a better person. The fourth reason is age. A lot of brothers feel like they're too young to get married. I can't settle down yet. I'm still in school. I can't afford things yet. How am I going to get married? Now, this is something society has placed in our mind. In our society today, it's openly allowed for men and women to date together with no problem. But as Muslims, we know we do not date women out of marriage. We do not commit adultery. We do not fornicate with women. Therefore, it becomes a little more tougher for us. We can't test the waters and date a bunch of women and find who do we like and who we don't like. So we have to trust in Allah subhanahu subhanahu wa ta'ala and just get married. If you were to be 18 or 19 and get married, people would say, wow, this brother is super young. Man, you're so young. How'd you get married? But remember, they're dating and people are doing other things that we're not as Muslims allowed to do. Therefore, we don't have time to be dating at 16, 17, 18 years old. But if you sort of think about it, people have been dating since they were 13 or 14 years old. If you were to put that in perspective of marriage, someone could have easily been married at 13 or 14 years old as well. Now, I'm not suggesting you start doing that. Don't wait too long thinking that you're too young, especially if you've hit puberty and you're mentally mature as well. And the fifth and final reason is we're just scared. Brothers are just flat out afraid of getting married. They're afraid of all 5 of these things compounding on top of each other. So now brothers are thinking about finances. They're thinking about I'm still in school. They're thinking about I'm too young. And now they're also thinking about finding the right person. Hey, I'm just afraid of the process. Brothers, you have to remember that you have to be patient and fall in love with the process. You're not just going to meet someone the first day and just hit it off. You might have to meet a few people before you decide who the right person is. But nonetheless, enjoy the process because you're only allowed one wife. Now, a lot of brothers are afraid of all the responsibility that comes with it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with the ability to handle that responsibility. So don't shy away from it. So now that you're married and you're trying to do it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that in itself is an act of worship. So the question of the day for the brothers who are married is, what was one thing that you were really afraid about before getting married? And for the brothers who are not married, what is one thing that's really stopping you from getting married? Of course, if you have any comments and suggestions as to what topic you would like us to discuss, please drop it below. So please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and remember, this is a brothers only channel. So until next time, this is your brother Sohail signing off. Assalamu alaikum.